You leave at 5:47 a.m. because you want to beat the tour groups. That is the entire plan. Beat the tour groups, get the shot, get out. The rented motorbike you parked against a rubber tree is already sweating in the morning heat, and the jungle around Khao Sok is making that layered sound it makes before sunrise. Insects and birds and something deeper underneath both of them. A biological hum that the limestone karst absorbs without comment. The entrance to Nam Talu is a dark ellipse cut into the rock face, roughly 4 meters wide, framed by fig roots that hang down like stripped electrical wiring. The air breathing out of it is 10 degrees cooler than the air on your face, and smells like wet stone and old water and something faintly mineral, like the inside of a coin. There is a sign, laminated, sun-bleached, half-peeled at the bottom corner. Guided tours only. Flash flood risk. Do not enter alone. You read it, frame it in the GoPro mounted on your chest harness, and say something clever to the camera about bureaucratic overcaution. Then you step around it. You have one waterproof headlamp rated to 200 lumens, one GoPro, a dry bag with your phone, and 400 baht and half a protein bar, and no rope, no wetsuit, no whistle, and no map. What you have instead is 6 weeks of Southeast Asia, a beginner freediving course in Koh Tao, a strong Instagram presence, and a Reddit thread bookmarked for 3 months, showing an underwater passage somewhere inside this cave where sunlight refracts through submerged limestone and turns the water the color of liquid jade. That image has 140,000 upvotes. You want the version nobody has taken yet. The first swim through appears 600 meters in, 8 meters of submerged passage, water so clear you can see the exit before you duck under. You surface on the other side laughing, water streaming off your face, and when you check the GoPro footage, you see it immediately. The refraction, the jade light. It is exactly what you came for. It is perfect. You could turn around right now. You look at the footage again. You think about what the deeper passage might look like. You go deeper. The cave narrows and then opens. 900 meters in, the corridor expands into a domed chamber the size of a school gymnasium. Stalactites hang from a ceiling you cannot fully illuminate, each one a different shade of cream and amber, and a shallow stream runs through the center, ankle deep, crystal clear, cold enough to make your feet ache inside your water shoes. You wade through it, filming and talking to the GoPro, and that is when you notice the waterline marks on the walls. They are not at ankle height. They form a distinct brown band on the limestone approximately 1.4 meters above where the water currently sits. Some sections show multiple bands stacked at different heights, a geological ledger of every time this chamber has filled. You pan the camera across them and say, out loud, that it must be from the rainy season. You are in the rainy season. Your brain surfaces that fact briefly, offers it to you, and you set it back down. The second submerged passage is 22 meters, longer than the first. The water when you approach it is moving faster than it was 20 minutes ago, marginally cloudier, carrying a faint turbidity that was not there before. You film the water and tell the GoPro you think it is picking up a bit. Then you duck under. 22 meters of black water. Your headlamp cutting a narrow cone through suspended particles. Your lungs burning at the 15-meter mark. The exit materializing above you like a pale smear of light. You surface gasping in a narrow corridor, barely wide enough to turn around in. When you look back at the passage you just swam, the entry point is different. The water level has risen approximately 15 centimeters in the time it took you to cross. You do the arithmetic once, then faster, then you stop doing arithmetic and you start moving, back toward the passage, back toward the exit. But the passage is gone. Not gone. Submerged. The ceiling of the swim-through now sits 30 centimeters below the waterline, and rising, and the current that was carrying silt when you crossed is now actively pushing water toward you from the direction you need to travel. Going back through it, is not a free dive. It is a blackwater gamble through a tunnel you cannot see the end of, in current that will slow you and disorient you, and has no interest in whether you make it. Behind you is unmapped cave. In front of you is a flooding passage. Your headlamp is your entire world right now. Your phone has no signal. It never had signal. You knew that. The GoPro is still recording. Its battery will last another 90 minutes. You push forward because forward is the only direction that exists. The corridor rises slightly in elevation, and that slight rise is the only piece of luck the cave offers you. A ledge of flat rock appears, 60 centimeters above the current waterline, and you pull yourself onto it. Below you, the stream is moving with purpose now, carrying leaves and debris in a slow, determined current, and you sit above it and allow yourself to feel like you have solved something. You have not solved anything. You have bought time from a system that does not negotiate. The headlamp sweeps the ledge and finds a cairn. 3 flat stones stacked with deliberate care in a crack near the wall. Someone has been here. Someone made it to this ledge before you and had enough time and enough composure to stack 3 stones. You tell yourself this is reassuring. What you do not fully examine is the question of whether they left. Then the light finds the wall above the cairn. Carved into the limestone in lines that are rough and clearly made under duress are tally marks. 4 vertical scratches crossed by a diagonal, groups of 5. You count them slowly. 23 groups, 115 marks. You sit with that number for a long time. According to park authority records and local reports, at least 2 separate flash flood incidents trapped tourists in Nam Talu's inner chambers in the years prior, with multiple fatalities documented across the cave system's flooding history. The ledge does not tell you who made the marks. It tells you how long they waited. You look at the GoPro. You have been talking to it for hours. You stop. The water reaches the ledge. Not fast. Steadily. With the complete indifference of physics. You climb into a narrow chimney above the ledge, pressing your back against one wall and your feet against the other, and the headlamp blinks once, then twice. Below you, the water fills the chamber floor and keeps rising, and the sound inside the cave has shifted from ambient drip and trickle into something with bass in it. A low hydraulic moan you feel in your sternum before you process it with your ears. You are not cold yet. You are getting cold. The water that has been in contact with your legs for 2 hours is 23 degrees, and hypothermia is patient in a way that you are beginning to understand is a fundamental characteristic of everything inside this mountain. You entered this cave as someone collecting material, a location, a backdrop. You understand now, in a way that cannot be unfelt, that the cave is not a location. It is a system. It has been a system for 10,000 years. The rain that is flooding this chamber right now fell on a ridgeline, 3 kilometers away, and traveled through fractures in the karst at a rate that has nothing to do with you and never did. You are not a variable in this equation. You are debris. 8 hours after you stepped around the sign, you hear something that is not water. It is mechanical, distant, directional, coming through the rock above and to your left. Vibration before sound. You scream until your throat tears open, and the sound that comes back is human, searching, a voice calling into the dark from somewhere above. You scream again. The voice gets closer. A second headlamp appears from a crack in the ceiling you had written off as solid limestone, a secondary passage invisible from below without knowing where to look. A park ranger peers down at you, roped and helmeted, his headlamp a professional-grade beam that makes yours look like a birthday candle. Behind him in the dark upper passage, a second ranger and a member of the local cave rescue team. The extraction takes 3 hours. You are roped through the upper passage on your back, arms extended overhead, squeezing through a 40-centimeter gap with the GoPro still strapped to your chest. It records the ceiling of the crack the entire way through. The footage is unusable. You emerge from a hillside vent at 7:12 p.m. into jungle dark and warm rain. Nobody says anything for a while. A thermal blanket, silver and crackling, a water bottle. Eventually, the older ranger, the one who found you, asks in careful English whether you saw the sign at the entrance. You tell him you photographed it. He nods slowly, like that is the most complete answer you could have given. 17 other tourists were turned away from the cave entrance that morning by rangers who arrived at 6:15 a.m. You left at 5:47. The park authority fines you 5,000 baht, roughly $140. The ranger who found you is named Somchai, and he has worked 14 hours today, and this is the 11th time he has done this. Not 11 times this year. 11 times total. 11 tourists who stepped around that sign. Back at your guest house, you pull up the footage. The refraction shot, the one you came for, the one you could have taken and turned around from, is genuinely beautiful. Liquid jade light through submerged limestone. Exactly as advertised. Exactly as photographed by the person whose image has 140,000 upvotes. You watch it for a long time. You never post it. Not because of guilt, exactly. Every caption you type tells the wrong story or the right story in the wrong way. The image sits in a folder. The thermal blanket is still in your bag. There's a crack in something that has not closed since. A fissure in the certainty that confidence and competence are the same thing. That surviving past close calls is evidence of skill rather than odds. That the world is a library of experiences waiting to be curated by people with the right gear and enough followers. Nam Talu Cave is a real place with a real flooding history and a real sign at the entrance that real people have stepped around. Cave rescue operations in Khao Sok, in the American Southwest, in the cave systems of Slovenia and Croatia and Belize, extract real people every year who entered with phones and exited their judgment at the trailhead. The instinct to go deeper is not a character flaw. It is a very human reflex, and the systems that predate it by geological epochs will be here long after it is gone. The cave did not try to kill you. It simply continued being a cave. The scariest thing about that, if you sit with it long enough, is that there is no lesson in it. There is only the question the ledge asks in tally marks. At what point did you know you should have turned around? And what exactly made you keep going? If that question hits somewhere real, drop it in the comments. More of these coming. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the next one.